It was a tale of two halves for the Warriors, who finished the first half strong but flamed out after the break. Let's get to the videotape. But maybe their first two possessions should have been a clue as to how the day would be going. UH took their first drive of the day down to the goal line, but on 4th and goal, a Bryant Moniz fumble left Hawaii with no points after an 82-yard drive. On their next possession, Scott Enos, he's going to line up and miss a 20-yarder. And UH once again puts up a goose egg inside the red zone. Things took a turn for the better late in the first. On Colorado's 7th play of the drive, freshman John Hardy Tuliao upends Rodney Stewart. Stewart coughing up the ball, and Hawaii is in business in Buffalo's territory again. Just 3 plays later, Moniz finds Kealoha Pilares for the TD. Hawaii takes a 7-zip lead. They led 10-0 at the half, but that is when Colorado flipped the script. In the third quarter, they're going to rack up 17 unanswered points, 147 yards of offense. UH, on the other hand, had just 25 total yards while giving up a safety. The Buffaloes added 2 touchdowns in the fourth as Colorado hands away their second loss of the season, 31-13. Hawaii returns.
How's it going, everybody? Thanks to empty opportunities in the first half and a Rocky Mountain hangover after halftime, Warrior football team suffered a heartbreaking road loss to Colorado in Boulder today. UH did storm out of the gates, though, as junior quarterback Bryant Moniz hit red-hot slot back Kealoha Pilares on an 80-yard connection on the second play of the game. Hawaii, though, would not be able to take advantage as UH went 0 for 2 in their first 2 trips to the red zone, both inside of the 5-yard line. But thanks to Colorado miscues and solid defense, Warriors did hit pay dirt, with Pilares cashing in on his 5th touchdown of the season. UH led 10-0 at the break, the first halftime shutout since 2005 for UH. But Hawaii's horrific third-quarter trend would continue as the Buffaloes would rip off 17 unanswered points in the first 8 minutes of the second half. 2 touchdowns and a safety put CU up 17-10. Through 3 games this season, UH has been outscored 53-17 in the third, and Colorado would simply run away in the second half. Warrior defense would give up 252 yards rushing on the day, and after starting 13 of 19 for 220 yards in the first 2 quarters, Moniz and his offense locked down. Held to a $114 with an interception to finish, capped off with Kahuku graduate B.J. Beatty dropping number 17 for one of his 4 tackles on the day. Colorado drops Hawaii 31-13 the final. In the loss, both Pilares and Greg Salas went over the 100-yard mark. UH running game, though, held to just 7 total yards on the day. Warriors now 1-2. They'll return home tomorrow morning. Up next for UH, Charleston Southern next Saturday in Halava.
We had some missed opportunities. We have to be able to capitalize on those opportunities. We're talking about 1 inch and 3 inches. And, that was a key point to the ball game. We should have had 21 points.
21 points they can't have back, but could have used in their 31-13 loss to the Buffs of Colorado yesterday. Warriors in the red zone 3 times in the first half, walked away with only 10 points. Then were outscored and outplayed 31-3 in the second half, but excuses aren't something you'll hear from this team.
We just got outplayed in the second half. Just like the first half, we played, I thought we played as well as we have, other than getting those 2 touchdowns. That was very disappointing.
We were able to move the ball nicely, put together some drives, throw the ball here and there. But in the end, they would just, they would hold us. We'd have long drives, but we couldn't finish the drives, and that's what cost us.
Warriors hope to knock the kinks out of what's been a potent offense. This Saturday, they host Charleston Southern at Aloha Stadium at 5:30. Now, Cowboys hosting the Bears, trailing 10-7 in the red zone. Looking to go up a score, Tony Romo rolls out, finds Chris Gronkowski, but he meets Pisa Chinoi Samoa. Former Warrior linebacker causes a fumble on the play. It would be reviewed as you take a closer look. Gronkowski's elbow hits the turf before the ball comes loose. Pisa finished with 5 tackles. Bears offense, too much. Cowboys fall 27-20. And they fall to 0-2 on the season. Dolphins and Vikings. Fins up 14-7 in the third on 3rd and 19. Chad Henne finds former Warrior Devon Best with a little bit of wiggle room for a 12-yard pickup. UH's all-time leading receiver. Only catch of the game. Didn't need much production because the defense was huge. Cameron Wake coming around the corner knocks the ball free from Brett Favre's hands. And the Dolphins recover in the end zone for a touchdown. Favre and the Vikings 0-2. Dolphins win 14-10.
3 of the Warriors' football season resulted in Hawaii's second loss of the season as they fell to Colorado 31-13 yesterday. But it did put an end to UH's 2-week stay on the mainland as the Warriors returned to Honolulu early this morning. How's it going, everybody? There were both negatives and positives from that loss. The Buffs continued to expose Hawaii's inability to stop the run as UH gave up over 250 yards on the ground. But like any stormy situation, there was a silver lining on defense. But first, let's go on the offensive side of things. Warrior receiver Kealoha Pilares continued to elevate his draft stock with 6 catches for 117 yards and a touchdown. It was a 3rd straight game this season that the Damian Grad eclipsed the century mark and made a trip to the end zone. On defense, outside linebacker Corey Paredes was a tackling machine. The Castle Grad came through with a career-high 16 takedowns. Coach Mack credits Corey's increased production with the added responsibility he's taken on this season.
He's one of our best. He and Von Meatonga are our best defensive football players, and you know I'm really proud. He's taken over. We're having him call things, even though he's playing outside linebacker, but he's making the calls, and we're sort of taking it off George because you know he has more experience, and he did an outstanding job.
How's it going, everybody? 1 and 2 UH football teams' 2-game, 13-day road trip officially came to an end this morning as the Warriors returned home following yesterday's frustrating loss to Colorado. Hawaii started the game with 0 points to show for 2 trips to the red zone in the first quarter, both inside of the 5-yard line. And despite leading 10-0 at the break, Buffs spoiled Hawaii's first halftime shutout in 5 years by outscoring the Warriors 31-3 in the final 2 quarters. Buffalo Stampede controlled the second half with their run game, totaling 252 yards on the day. And a scary second half trend continued for UH as Hawaii has now been outscored 53-17 in the 3rd quarter this season.
Well, you know, we had some missed opportunities. You know, we have to be able to capitalize on those opportunities. We're talking about 1 inch and 3 inches. And, you know, that was a key point to the ball game. We should have had 21 points. And, you know, and the defense was playing well.
We were able to move the ball nicely, you know, put together some drives, throw the ball here and there. But in the end, they would just, they would hold us. You know, we'd have long drives, but we couldn't finish the drives, and that's what cost us.
You know, we don't have any excuses. You know, we've you know, we just got outplayed in the second half.
Now in defeat, Warrior senior slot back Kealoha Pilares continued his strong start, hauling in 6 catches for 117 yards in his 5th touchdown of the season. Through 3 outings in 2010, Damian Graduate ranked 2nd in the country with an average of 132 yards per game. Up next for number 21 in his Warriors, FCS member Charleston Southern. Saturday night kickoff set for 5:30 at Aloha Stadium. Week 2 in the NFL rolled on today where former Warrior All-American Devon Bess and his Dolphins beat Minnesota. 3rd-year receiver had 1 catch for 12 yards as Miami improved to 2-0 for the first time in 8 years. Vikings now 0-2 and Brett Favre off to an ugly start. 1 touchdown and 4 interceptions in 2010. 3 of them came today. Dolphins win 14-10. And finally, Week 12 with the Canadian Football League's regular season went down where Roosevelt graduate, former Warrior All-American Chad Owens scored his 5th touchdown of the season in Toronto's 17-13 victory over Winnipeg. Came on an 80-yard punt return to pay dirt. Owens, leading the league in all-purpose yards, finished with 217 combined yards. In the loss, St. Louis graduate Joe Lobendon recorded 3 tackles with a sack for the Blue Bombers.